This may well be a bit of an embarrassing moment for the government, although I suppose their argument would be times are changing rapidly and they need to keep up with those times. However, the government's initial argument when it came to helping people with energy bills is that the bills are not going to rise until the autumn. We know that the energy price cap is reassessed every 6 months, and so the next time that prices may well rise for consumers is many months away. And the government, up until now, was arguing that therefore the best time to deliver any help would be as close to that price rise as possible so that they could respond in kind, knowing the economy as it may have changed by that point. However, now it seems like the pressure has got that much that we're about to hear today some pretty seismic interventions, maybe tens of billions of pounds of taxpayers' money being moved around and to help people, particularly the lowest paid people, with their energy bills. Some of the rumours that we have been hearing to do with this announcement that we're expecting in just 1 hour's time range from giving people direct cash payments to stopping the sort of half loan system that was announced a few months ago, people may remember, whereby people would be given £200 that they'd pay back in £50 instalments in future years. That may well become a grant today and may well be increased as well. So potentially hundreds of pounds flowing into the pockets of those on the lowest incomes. And how is it going to be funded? Well, we're not sure exactly the mechanism, but potentially part of it will be increased, maybe one-off taxation on energy companies. Now, the Labour Party will be crowing if that happens, because that's similar to what the Labour Party has been calling for quite some time now. One version or other of a windfall tax.
Yeah, absolutely. And a lot of people are saying it's very unconservative, Tom, aren't they? This is not in the nature, in the DNA of traditional conservative ideology. And I think a lot of other people are concerned that we may end up paying this back in some way one day, but presumably not if it's a windfall tax.
Well, the issue that had been raised up until today, mainly by Conservative ministers, of course, with a windfall tax, is that that money comes out of companies that we're expecting to do a hell of a lot of investment towards getting us to net zero. And if those companies don't make the kind of profits that they're expected to, well, then they're not going to be able to invest in our energy transition. And it may well be that ordinary people end up having to pay more for that energy transition as we move away from fossil fuels and move towards renewable energy. It may well be that ordinary people end up bearing a bigger brunt of that transition than was the plan. That's if these energy companies are whacked with this tax. But more specifically, the almost arbitrary nature of a windfall tax is one that is particularly dangerous for investment, because it means that any company might think twice about investing in the UK, knowing that if they do too well, there isn't just an ordinary set of rules to play by. Politicians may well just grab some money from them at an arbitrary point in time. That's the worry about the environment that a windfall tax creates. The idea that looking forward into the future, if I were to choose a country to do business in, would I want to choose the country that had stable, reliable, predictable rules, or would I want to choose a country that had politicians who would make cash grabs at my companies at various times, depending on what was politically expedient? That's the genuine concern that people bring up about windfall taxes, and yet it seems like the political pressure has risen to the level whereby we may be seeing some form of windfall tax. No doubt there will be some treasury spin attached to it to suggest that this is a different sort of windfall tax to the one that the Labour Party was proposing. And of course, the Labour Party's tax was going to raise around £2 billion, we were hearing. Well, the Tory party is about to spend maybe upwards of £10 billion. Where on earth are they going to get all of that money from? Well, there may well be more debt, there may well be a slightly harsher tax, or some other mechanism that we have not yet seen. We'll listen to it, of course, all from 12:30.